Alright everybody, today I'm going to show you how to install the hood rack for our units. First things, you're going to want to remove the windshield and the hood, and then from there you're going to unbox your hood rack. All the parts need to be laid out so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. These are going to be your front clamps for the front light bar mount. You have the hood rack itself and some more brackets. I'll show you as we go on how to put them together. First thing you want to do, you're going to have two different size bolts. The longer one is going to go in the back of the hood rack for the thicker or the bigger size pipe. You'll slide these together, line up the holes. And you want to take the bolt, you want to run it up through the bottom. That way you don't chance scratching your hood. Start it by hand. Take the smaller bolt, do the same thing on the front. Then tighten those up. Alright, so this is going to be your top bracket for your hood rack. You want to remove the bolts, set them off to the side, take the half of the clamp, you want to go down and around, and you want to be right below that roll cage bolt. Take your bolts from the outside, put them in, take your flat washer and your nut, get one started. I always snug it up just a little bit, makes it easier to get the other bolt in. Do not tighten them down yet. We can finish tightening everything down once we get it all lined up and set where it needs to be. Repeat the same process on the other side. Alright, so once you get your top brackets on, keep them loose, don't tighten them up all the way. You want to reinstall your hood. And then you want to come over, grab your bottom brackets for the front bumper. You're going to remove the bolts. Make sure when you install them, you have that top piece facing the hood. Start your bolts by hand. I use a long extension, 12-inch extension with a swivel, and my Allen socket. Again, don't tighten them up all the way. Just get the back bolt somewhat snug, and then the front will make up for the gap and tighten down. But you don't want it to get too tight yet. You want to be able to move it so you can position everything correctly. Once you get them snug enough to where you can still move them, we're going to grab the other set of brackets. You're going to grab these two brackets. These are what's going to connect the bottom part of the light bar to the actual rack itself. Now when you put these on, you want them to be the actual hook itself facing the front. Just get them snugged up to the point where you can still hold them in place, and then once you get the rack set up there, you can adjust the height. But for now, just get them snugged up, and then we will get everything set up and leveled out. All right. Then you want to put your next set of bars in your actual hood rack. Leave them sticking out about 6 inches. Just snug them up. Don't tighten them down yet. Alright. You're going to want to set that down in front. You're going to want to remove these two bolts on each side. Set them out of the way. Try not to drop them. Take your hood rack, Get it set up there. Take your front brackets, and you want them to be evenly spaced as best as you can. Always start your bolts by hand. That way you don't strip everything. Same thing on the other side. You want to snug those bolts up. And then we'll start leveling the hood rack out and making everything nice and tight. You want to make sure your brackets don't move down. This one moved a little, so we'll have to come up right below that bolt. If you need to, loosen the bracket up a little bit more so you can do so. Get it right below that bolt. As you tighten it up, that bracket's going to want to pull in. So you want to try to position it to where when you tighten it, it's straight. Loosen this bar back up. You're going to push it in so it's only sticking out about 1/2 inch. Tighten that down. You'll need a Phillips bit or a Phillips screwdriver to tighten down the clamps. I do that last. Repeat the same process on the other side. All right, once you get the top brackets done, you want to look underneath, make sure you have a decent gap from your hood to your hood rack. Should be about a heavy 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Once we get the front lowered, that will help us level it out. Once you get an eyeball level, kind of look at the front mounts. They will move on you. You want to straighten them back out. And then you'll have to reset your leveling again on the actual rack part. And then after you get those set up and straightened out and everything, you want to take your Phillips bit and tighten up your clamps. You don't want to over tighten them, you just want them tight enough that they're going to have some pressure on them to keep everything tight. And that is how you install the hood rack. And once you get that put on, you should be able to reinstall the windshield, and it should open and close with the hood rack installed. If not, you will have to do some more adjustments on the hood rack. And with any luck, if you get it set up just right, it should not touch the hood rack. It should open and close with no resistance or touching. And that is how you install the hood rack. If you have any questions, feel free to call, email tech support@americanlandmaster.com, and we will get with you and help you out as soon as we can.